The ZR1. This alphanumeric string isn't just a model number. It represents the ultimate form of the Corvette. Since the 1970s, the ZR1's sole purpose has been to showcase raw power, cutting-edge technological advances, world-class track performance, and all of this wrapped in a package that stands out when compared to its European counterparts. The ZR1 line of Corvettes has always been defined by its drivetrain, race-bred high-revving dual overhead cam small block engines, all the way to the supercharged LS and LT variants. These engines blurred the line of what was considered safe for even experienced drivers. Despite the ZR1's raw power, its cosmetics have always been understated. The car's sleek silhouette might easily be mistaken for a lesser trim model, but certain features, such as the wider stance, the clear hood to showcase the intercooler, and the infamous badge, will instantly tell you that this is the vet of all vets. Today on Explained, we dive deep into the heart of the ZR1 and explore why it remains the king of Corvettes. The Racer Kit, the inception of the ZR1. The birth of the ZR1 starts with a visionary name in the automotive world, Zora Arkus Duntov. Revered as the father of the Corvette, Duntov's passion for performance and his unwavering belief in the Corvette's potential were foundational in the development of some of the most iconic Corvette models ever built. Throughout the late 1960s, Duntov lobbied General Motors for higher-performing Corvette models, special order, street-legal race cars that would be able to compete in major racing events like the SCCA, Sports Car Club of America, but also remain affordable for everyday enthusiasts. Duntov wasn't content with simply making the Corvette a beautiful roadster. He had grander ambitions. He envisioned the Corvette as not just a performance car, but a machine capable of dominating racetracks. His goal was to create cars that could deliver world-class performance without the prohibitive price tag often associated with European race cars. These special performance models were supposed to bring high-performance technology to the streets, providing a direct bridge between the track and the road. The culmination of Duntov's vision led to the creation of the ZR1. But the ZR1 wasn't something that was heavily marketed by General Motors at the time. In fact, it wasn't advertised at all. For many Corvette buyers, knowing about the ZR1 package was something of an insider secret. To obtain the ZR1, customers had to be in the know about the ZR1 RPO, Regular Production Option code. This code wasn't listed on brochures or advertising materials. It was something you had to ask for specifically at the dealership. A hidden gem for those who sought the ultimate in Corvette performance. The ZR1 was more than just a trim package. It was a complete performance upgrade, and it carried with it a steep price. For $968.95, customers received the ultimate in small block performance, the LT1 engine. This was a 350 cubic inch engine with a high compression ratio, mechanical lifters, and a significantly more aggressive camshaft than the base engine options. The engine was designed for high-revving power and made the Corvette feel like a race car straight from the factory. But this was just the beginning. The LT1 wasn't just an engine. It was a symbol of Duntov's push for serious performance. The induction system used a Holley 780 CFM 4-barrel carburetor, originally intended for big block engines, which helped the LT1 produce a stout 370 horsepower, 70 more horsepower than the base engine, making it a real powerhouse on the street. However, Duntov's vision wasn't just about raw power. He understood that to create a true race car for the road, every part of the vehicle had to be optimized for performance. This was evident in the ZR1's lightweight approach to its construction. To create a car that was as fast as possible, the ZR1 package stripped away luxury features such as air conditioning, power steering, and the radio. This wasn't about comfort, it was about performance. The Corvette had to be lighter, quicker, and more agile. Everything that you would expect from a race-ready car. The suspension was also tuned for the track. Heavy-duty disc brakes and upgraded sway bars were included, ensuring that the car could handle tight corners and high-speed braking with ease. The ZR1 was equipped with the Rock Crusher 4-speed manual transmission, a gearbox designed to handle the immense power of the engine and deliver crisp, responsive shifts. This setup was far more than what most road-going Corvettes offered and brought the ZR1's performance capabilities closer to those of professional race cars. And the results spoke for themselves. The ZR1 was a true powerhouse on the track. It covered the quarter mile in an impressive 14 seconds flat at 103 miles per hour, an impressive feat given its time. But its track-ready design wasn't the only thing that set it apart. Despite all its power and performance features, the ZR1 didn't look all that different from a standard Corvette. Its understated design made it a sleeper of sorts, an unassuming car with the heart and soul of a race car. Yet, there were still telltale signs that set the ZR1 apart from lesser trims. The wider stance was the first giveaway, providing better stability at higher speeds. The clear hood was another obvious visual cue. It allowed onlookers to glimpse the powerful intercooler beneath, a clear sign of the car's performance pedigree. Of course, the iconic ZR1 badge on the rear and front fenders was the most definitive indication that this was no ordinary Corvette. But even with these telltale features, many would still overlook the ZR1 as a top-tier performance car, assuming it was just another variation of the classic C3 Corvette. The ZR1's performance wasn't just limited to the racetrack. It was a car that offered a driving experience like no other. Whether on the street or the track, it offered an unmatched combination of power, agility, and precision. Despite its raw power, it was surprisingly manageable for experienced drivers who could push it to its limits without fear of losing control. However, even with all of its impressive features, the ZR1's lifespan was short. The growing energy crisis and stricter emissions regulations caused the end of the LT1 engine in 1972, bringing an end to the C3 ZR1's production. Over the span of just 3 years, only 53 ZR1 Corvettes were ever built, a testament to the exclusivity and performance of the model. But while the original ZR1 was short-lived, its legacy would endure. It proved that Chevrolet was capable of creating a truly world-class performance car, and it set the stage for the ZR1 to become the ultimate badge of the Corvette, continuing to evolve and push the limits of automotive engineering in the years to come. From its inception, the ZR1 wasn't just a performance model, it was a race car built for the road, a testament to Zora Arkus Duntov's vision and the beginning of a legendary legacy in Corvette history. King of the Hill, the 1980s ZR1. The 1980s brought rapid technological advancements in automotive engineering. Emission standards and fuel economy regulations meant simply increasing engine size wouldn't work anymore. You had to get creative. The Buick Grand National was a prime example of this innovation, with a repurposed V6 engine, high-tech electronics, and a turbocharger. The Grand National became the fastest accelerating car in America. The C4 Corvette would get its turn for a high-tech makeover. With the help of Lotus, a world-renowned engine builder for Formula One cars, Chevrolet acquired Lotus in 1986. Together, they worked on a new, high-performance V8 that would need to accomplish 4 objectives to carry the ZR1 name: acceleration, drivability, fuel economy, and adaptability to the C4 chassis. This endeavor culminated in the LT5 engine, the first dual overhead cam engine ever to appear in a Corvette. The LT5 featured a 2-piece aluminum engine block and a larger stroke with a smaller bore that maintained a 5.7-liter displacement. The LT5 boasted 3 intake throttles, 16 individual intake runners, and a primary and secondary intake cam low profile that worked together to give the engine both low-speed drivability and high-end power. The fuel system featured 16 individual fuel injectors and 2 fuel pumps, with the ECM capable of shutting off 8 injectors for better fuel economy. The LT5 produced 375 horsepower, a full 125 more than the outgoing L98, and by 1993, horsepower increased to 405 with revised cylinder heads and exhaust manifolds. It was enough to put the ZR1 on par with the Porsche 911 Turbo, yet at nearly half the price. Still, the car's looks were mostly unchanged compared to the base Corvette, and many customers struggled to justify the $27,000 premium for the ZR1. Despite its performance, the ZR1 was ultimately discontinued in 1995, but it remained the king of the hill. The Blue Devil, the 2000s ZR1. As the new millennium approached, the ZR1 nameplate was placed into a brief period of dormancy. The 06 models, which had evolved into track-focused Corvettes, took center stage, offering remarkable performance without the high cost of a bespoke engine. While the 06 became a popular choice among performance enthusiasts, there was always a sense of longing among Corvette fans for the return of the ultimate unbridled performance model, the ZR1. This longing for the return of the ZR1 was further fueled by the looming bankruptcy of General Motors, GM, a company that, despite its financial troubles, kept its commitment to the Corvette's development. Even as GM's 8 brands were reduced in the midst of the company's crisis, the Corvette development efforts remained intact, and the ZR1 was far from forgotten. GM's engineers were working behind the scenes to develop a new breed of Corvette, a car that would reignite the flames of the ZR1 legacy and once again make the Corvette the undisputed king of American performance cars. The result of this tireless development was the 2009 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1, a car that would be known for its unmatched power, ferocity, and technological innovation. Unlike the 06, which had relied on a modified version of the base Corvette engine, the ZR1 would once again feature a bespoke engine capable of delivering performance that would leave competitors in the dust. The ZR1's return marked the dawn of a new era of Corvette engineering, where power and refinement would go hand in hand. At the heart of the 2009 ZR1 was the 6.2-liter LS9 engine, a powerhouse that would redefine what was possible in a production Corvette. This engine was based on the same 6.2-liter LS3 engine found in the base Corvette, but with a host of modifications that made it far more robust. The LS9 engine was equipped with an Eaton 4-lobe TVS 2300 supercharger, which forced air into the engine, providing an astonishing 10.5 pounds of boost. This supercharger was a key component in the ZR1's immense power output. With a compression ratio of 9.1 to 1, the LS9 engine produced a jaw-dropping 638 horsepower and 605 pound-feet of torque. This made the ZR1 the most powerful production Corvette ever built at the time, and one of the most powerful production cars in the world. The raw numbers alone were enough to make enthusiasts take notice, but it was the way the car handled this power that truly set it apart. The ZR1 was not just fast. It was meticulously engineered to deliver an exceptional driving experience. The LS9 engine was paired with a 6-speed manual transmission, a feature that preserved the ZR1's connection to its performance roots. But what really set the ZR1 apart from other Corvettes, and even its European rivals, was its attention to detail in every aspect of the car's design. The ZR1 was built with track performance in mind, but it was also crafted to be a comfortable and usable car on the street. The engine, with its supercharger and carefully tuned camshaft, produced not only immense power but also remarkable drivability. The ZR1's acceleration and handling were second to none, and its straight-line speed was simply staggering. To handle all of this power, the ZR1 was equipped with massive carbon ceramic brakes, a first for any Corvette. These brakes were designed to provide exceptional stopping power even under the most extreme conditions. The car's suspension was also tuned for ultimate performance, with magnetic ride control technology allowing the car to adjust its suspension stiffness in real time, providing the perfect balance between comfort and performance. The chassis was reinforced to handle the increased stresses of the ZR1's power, and the car's handling was optimized for both the track and the road. But it wasn't just the engine and performance features that set the ZR1 apart. It was the car's design and aesthetics as well. The ZR1's exterior featured bold design cues that made it instantly recognizable as a top-tier Corvette. The polycarbonate window on the hood, which allowed onlookers to see the massive intercooler beneath, became one of the car's most iconic features. The wider fender flares, dual fender vents, and the huge rear spoiler all worked together to give the ZR1 a menacing, track-ready appearance. These design elements were not just for show, they were functional, ensuring that the ZR1 could handle the immense performance demands placed on it. However, despite its obvious performance capabilities, the ZR1 was not without its challenges. As with previous models, the ZR1's price tag was steep, and this would be a recurring theme for the car throughout its history. The ZR1's MSRP was over 6 figures, a price that, even for a car with such extraordinary performance, caused some buyers to hesitate. Though the ZR1 was far superior to the base Corvette in terms of power and handling, the interior of the car did not feel quite as luxurious as its price tag might suggest. For some, this discrepancy between performance and interior quality made it difficult to justify the ZR1 over the more affordable Z06 model. Despite these hurdles, the 2009 ZR1 was a triumph in every sense of the word. The car was a technological marvel, showcasing the cutting-edge engineering prowess of Chevrolet. It was a car built for the most discerning enthusiasts, those who wanted more than just speed, but a car that could truly conquer the track while still being usable as a road car. The ZR1's return brought the Corvette back into the spotlight, and it once again proved that the American sports car could stand shoulder to shoulder with the best of Europe's offerings. In terms of raw performance, the ZR1 set the bar higher than ever before. With a top speed of 205 miles per hour and the ability to hit 60 macro-peak in just 3.4 seconds, the ZR1 was a car that was simply in a league of its own. Even with its monstrous power, the ZR1's handling was remarkably composed, thanks to the advanced suspension system and tire package. It was a car that could deliver heart-pounding thrills on the track, while still offering a level of comfort and usability that made it a viable option for daily driving. The ZR1's legacy was cemented not just by its power, but by its incredible balance of performance, design, and technological innovation. It was a car that represented the peak of Corvette engineering. A car that could go toe-to-toe with the world's finest sports cars, all while retaining the heart and soul of what made the Corvette so special. The ZR1 today, the Blue Devil's last hurrah. The 2009 ZR1 remains one of the most iconic and revered models in Corvette history. Despite its relatively low production numbers and high price tag, the ZR1 was a true representation of what the Corvette could achieve. It was the final statement for the front-engine ZR1 models before the Corvette transitioned to its mid-engine design in the form of the C8. The ZR1 was, in many ways, the last hurrah for the front-engine platform, a fitting farewell to an era that had defined the Corvette's performance legacy for decades. Today, the 2009 ZR1 remains a highly sought-after collector's car, with enthusiasts continuing to admire its combination of brute force, refinement, and technological sophistication. As the Corvette continues to evolve, the ZR1 remains a reminder of the car's incredible heritage, one that has shaped the performance car world for over half a century. Big Supercharger, the C7 ZR1. The C7 Corvette was the last front-engine Corvette. The ZR1 model would represent the final front-engine version of the Corvette, and GM had to make sure it would live up to the high standards set by its predecessors. The ZR1's engine was developed under the name BAS, standing for Big Supercharger. This engine would become the LT5, which used a larger supercharger to increase output. The LT5 featured a forged rotating assembly with block gussets around the cylinder head bolts, a reverse rotation supercharger, and a camshaft specifically tuned for higher top-end power. It produced 755 horsepower and 715 pound-feet of torque. Like the C6 ZR1, the C7 ZR1 was visually distinct, with a carbon hood bulge, massive front vents, and a huge spoiler. The car was an overkill in the best way possible. However, even with its extreme performance, the C7ZR1 faced similar challenges to its predecessors. Despite producing more horsepower than the Z06, its $120,000 price tag made it difficult to justify. The future, the C8ZR1. Today, speculation surrounds the next model to carry the ZR1 nameplate. What we know so far is that the C8 ZR1 will be powered by the LT7, a twin-turbocharged 5.5-liter V8 engine, which is expected to produce over 800 horsepower. With hybrid configurations rumored to push power near 1,000 horsepower, the ZR1's legacy is set to continue into the next generation of Corvette performance. From its inception in 1970, the ZR1 model of Corvettes has been and will always remain the king of Corvettes, an icon in the automotive world.